Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Sarah here. So today I'm going to talk to you about the cracks on your artworks. Like the first time I had cracks on my artworks when I did Fluidart acrylic pour, I got really scared and really shocked, like what is this? You know, because you see cracks and you see lines and all this wrinkled stuff on your artworks, and sometimes you feel sad because you've put in a lot of effort into your works and this happened. So I'm going to tell you all about the cracks, what you can do to prevent cracks, and how to manipulate these cracks, especially when you want to create some special effects. So cracks can be beautiful too, and it can also destroy some artworks as well. It's really up to, you know, the eyes of the beholder. Let's get started. Right, so I'm going to show you some examples of my works that has cracks. By the way, those cracks that you get on the artwork of yours, they are called crazing. So that's when the top layer dries faster than the bottom layer due to difference in temperature or humidity. So you produce cracks. Now sometimes cracks can be beautiful, and to understand cracks you have to know about the difference in temperature and what can cause cracks. I'll show you an example of how you can manipulate cracks or crazing. So I did this during summer or autumn, so the weather was quite humid and it was quite warm. Now it's a very good time for you to actually do fluid art then, because the weather is just nice. It's not too humid and it's not too dry, so you know your pour will slowly dry as you know, following the temperature, and it'll look beautiful. But some effects you can do is when there, I can't see if you can, I don't know if you can see this one, but this type of effects is actually caused by crazing. So what happened was when the temperature is a bit cooled, and once I've already torched one time, I retouch it on the same place again with the higher heat temperature, and then once it produces cracks, I start tilting it. So that's where these cracks happen. And so for certain art, if you have cracks like this, you know, it makes the art very special and beautiful. So you have to really know how to manipulate with cracks sometimes. Or we call it crazing. Okay, so this is another type of crazing you can get on your surface of your work when it's drying. Now this I did in winter. I did not know that my air is you know, the air in my room is really dry, and it's really cold outside too. So because of the difference in temperature, the paint actually dries really fast on the top, and but the bottom was not dry fast too. So what happened was crazing happened. Right. Can you see the cracks here? So because I use really good paints, I use Liquitex and Amsterdam paints just mixed with water and no Floetrol or any pouring medium, this happened. Can you see it? All these wrinkled lines. Sometimes you'll crack and sometimes you'll not crack. So because this paint is really thin, but it's not that thin, so it wrinkles up instead. Can you see those wrinkles? So this only happens when the temperature is really different, really drastic, and also that if your room is really dry, the top layer will dry faster than the bottom layer, and then you get all this crazing that happen. So it may look beautiful to some, and it might not look beautiful to some too. So it's really, you know, it's really up to the eyes of the beholder. But what my husband said is true. You know, this only happens sometimes only in winter or in fluctuation in temperature. So sometimes there's an aesthetic to it because you know, it's not man-made, it's created naturally due to the environment. So sometimes it does put a value to your artwork and, you know, create beautiful textures as well. So can you see it? There we go. Can you see it? Yeah. But yeah, one thing you can do is you can actually try to sand it down with the sandpaper and reapply coatings again, but I didn't want to do that to my painting, so I just let it be for this one. Right. Another one is this one. There. Can you see some cracks here? Okay, there are some cracks here, very tiny bit. And then the most obvious crack is this one. Now, because I've already did another layer of pour before this, so when I do a new pour on top of this one, when crazing happens, you can actually see the bottom part and it's shiny. Can you see it? It's actually very nice and shiny, and it has different colors too. So sometimes crazing do look beautiful on certain artworks, and it creates a really antique look, if you can see it. There. It creates a really antique look to your work as well. So sometimes crazing can be beautiful too. You know, it's not a bad thing that crazing happened. So I'm gonna tell you how you can avoid crazing. One of my biggest artwork that I've done recently is about 110 to 130 centimeters. I'm not sure how much is that in inches, but anyways, it's a really big painting. And what I did was I painted it outside at my balcony because I have no room, no space in the room in my studio. And the weather's really cold. That time when I did it, it was like -4 degrees. So and the air was really dry. So what I did was, after I finished my pour, I turned on the humidifier for like 5 days non-stop, just replacing water and keep humidifying the whole place and spray waters all around the area so that the paints will dry slowly and smoothly without any cracks. So I'll show you. Hold on. So this piece of art was done outside during the cold, and there are no crazing at all because I've turned on the humidifier on for at least 5 days to humidify my painting, so there are no cracks at all. Yeah. So if you want to avoid cracks in your painting, it's best to turn on the humidifier if your place is really dry, and it will really help with your painting and not cause any crazing at all. This is my recent artworks that I'm doing, and it's still curing. So what I did was I turned on a humidifier just for it for a few days already, because it's really cold outside and my room here is really warm and dry, really dry.
I forgot to add a very important note that you can always use pouring mediums into your mix it together with the paint so that you will delay the time of drying too, and use a humidifier.
So that's all about crazing and your crack. So anytime, you know, if you see a crack in your painting, do know that that's called crazing, and that happens because of difference in temperature or difference in humidity as well. So you have to make sure there's always a constant average temperature in your place, and if the place is too dry, all you need to do is just turn on the humidifier and make sure that the paint gets a lot of humidity from the humidifier. So I hope you find this video helpful. If you have any other tips about crazing and how to avoid it, please let me know in the comment section. I would really love to hear from you. And thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you soon again. Bye.